Hello, thanks for joining me today. I appreciate everybody who watches these. I want to get started by saying that what's going on, politically, and I really hate using that term. It kind of makes me think that they started using that term just so the masses, the regular people, would feel that, oh, I could never understand what's going on politically. No matter how you define it, in my opinion, it has to do with reality. Like they say, oh, he's a very political person. No, it's just to me, it's just a way to say, I'm going to get away with corruption politically. Okay, that's to me, that's all it means. Now, what's going on politically? The reality is that this guy, Donald Trump, he's a con man. All of his friends are con men. All of his associates are con men. Everybody in his staff are con men. All the conservatives and Republicans in office today, they're con men. Now, there are some Democratic con men. There are people who get into politics, people who get into representing other people, other masses. In my opinion, it's not a huge responsibility. It isn't. You go to these people, you tell them, hey, I'm your guy, vote for me. I'm going to make your life easier. I don't understand that. I don't get it. All they get is huge bags of money from corporations, both the Democrat and Republicans. If you're going to get a salary, which is a pretty damn good salary, that's not enough. It isn't enough. You have to. Why do you need to have security for the rest of your life? Well, yeah, they say, oh yeah, it's for your protection, because you might get shot or might get assassinated. Well, who's going to shoot you? If you're doing the best you can to represent people, if you're doing the best you can to represent the American masses, not the corporations, not the really, really rich people who have more than $1 billion or hundreds of millions of dollars, if they can't figure out how to make that money work for them, and if they can't figure out how much enough is enough, if they can't figure it out, that's their problem. I've always believed that it's the people, the masses, who make this whole thing work. Now, what they also figured out, the upper echelon politicians, what they figured out is that not everybody votes. Not everybody thinks their vote counts. Not everybody thinks I can make a difference. They're not going to tell you that. They won't tell the absolute truth. I like this whole thing with immigration, with these, let's build the wall. It is a racist belief, a racist philosophy, a white supremacist philosophy. I already told you guys, they just don't want that southern wall built. What they want is to get rid of all immigrants, which is so stupid, because we are all immigrants. We all infiltrated this land illegally from the natives, what these idiots called Indians. Well, they're not Indians. They're native to this land. And all of us, you know, I got a question. Maybe somebody can reply and give me an answer. Why is it that the continent of Africa, the Asian continent, and the native continent, which we call North America, why is it that on their history it never shows them they don't have any kind of past where a whole bunch of Africans went to a new land and tried to kill every inhabitant on that land so they could take over the land. It never shows, it never reads that Asians, which Asians were the really first ones to explore. I mean, that's been proven scientifically time and time again. But they didn't sit there and try to perform some kind of genocide on the natives of the lands that they explored. Natives, there's never any record of them going into a extreme foreign land and trying to perform genocide on those inhabitants. Yeah, maybe somebody can, I don't know, get back to me on that. But why is that? Why is that? And it's always been the Anglo, the white supremacist. They wanted to take over the world. And the world's not enough. But yet, going back to the main thing, people, racism is not going to go away. It isn't. Okay. Let's just in my fantasy world, let's just say every politician that is in Washington, D.C., and I'm talking about people in the Senate and people in Congress and the president and all the judges, every single politician is either African American, Hispanic, or Native, or Asian. Let's just say that. Let's just say that, it doesn't matter, and there is no Republican senator, and there's no Republican Congress. Just get rid of them. We're still going to have racists. There's still going to be pockets of racist idiots everywhere. They'll still be there. But we can identify them. And that's another thing what I'm trying to tell you guys. Don't be bullied. Obviously you have these white supremacist evangelicals, that they have to carry weapons. Well, just stay clear away from them. Let's let those guys take care of themselves, because they will. They will. But going back with this whole administration, with this idiot, this jackass, and the people who believe him, the people who are out driving trucks, the people who are out digging ditches, the people who are out frying hamburgers, everybody that's out there working for a living, they do have a lot of racist people out there flipping burgers, digging ditches, driving trucks, working just like you and I. Okay? They're going to be there forever. They will. They will be here forever. That's why I'm telling you, don't be afraid to identify them, but more so, don't be afraid to figure out what you need to do to vote, what you need to do to keep the people who really want to work and represent their constituents, the people who vote for them. not the corporations, not the billionaires. No, no. And as far as the illegal immigration goes, it worked fine. It worked fine in the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s until Ronald Reagan wanted to be the great communicator, or one of the greatest presidents, and he conned everybody. What he did is he signed that bill of amnesty, or some kind of amnesty, and it wasn't. What it was is to let the Mexicans who have been here since a certain time to stay here, and let those Mexicans get regular jobs in factories, okay, that were unionized. It didn't matter what kind of employee it was. What he wanted to do was to break up the unions, and he did. He did, and he everybody says, oh, it was one of the great things for the immigrants. No, he used them. He used them to break down the unions, okay? And it got chaotic. Now, there was a guy, some of you remember, there was a guy named Cesar Chavez, okay? He started out in California, okay? He wanted to have immigration enforced, not because he hated people who crossed the border, no. It's because, ignore it, is because, I had a phone call, I had to ignore it, is because he saw what the white politicians, what they were all about. They were just going to use, just like they did, they're just going to use the immigrants. You see, now back then, if you were a company, if you were a contractor, if you were anybody that hired an illegal immigrant, illegal alien, okay, and you got caught, you paid a hefty fine, and you had jail time. Okay? It didn't matter who you were. Now, for example, there was a young Hispanic guy, I'm assuming he was Hispanic, out in Iowa. Okay? He wasn't emotionally what do you call it? He was emotionally disabled, okay? Now, according to the story, allegedly, he killed some girl, okay? Murdered her. He killed her, okay? Now, they found out, oh my God, he was an illegal immigrant. His papers were falsified, blah, 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 blah. Let's burn him at the cross. No. Okay, now, in my opinion, if he was here illegally and he committed this crime, he should be held accountable for the crime he committed. Okay, now, this is what happened, and all of a sudden it got dropped off the media. They found out where this kid was working. I'm assuming it was some cornfield or some kind of cornfield, and had I don't know what they call those things, it's a cornfield factory, that he'd been working there for years. For years. And he's been illegal. Well, everybody was up in arms. How did this happen? Let's imprison the owner. Because he'd been there, I think it was like 4 or 5 years, maybe longer. Well, the owner of that place was a huge donator to the Trump campaign. Oops. Uh-oh. What happened? We don't know. We don't know because politically, it got covered up. The media was, don't report on it. It's not newsworthy. Well, yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. And it's shit like that it's going to continue to go on. It will. But it's not going to go on as much, and it's not going to go on as long as we band together and start voting and showing the politicians that we have the power. You're not going to take it away from us anymore. We have the power. Okay? And we have the power to snuff out the white supremacy evangelicals, the liars. We do. Well, thank you for your time. Be safe out there, especially in this holiday season that's coming up. Okay? Don't worry about what's going to happen. What's going to happen is going to happen. Okay? And this guy in the White House is Trump bullshit. What's going to happen with him, it's not going to satisfy everybody. It won't. But if we get together, and like I said earlier, if we can get just 10% more people to vote nationwide, it'll blow their mind. Thank you.